G'day everyone, welcome to this edition of DURKO's Notebook for the 2024 Miami Grand Prix. The heat was certainly turned up this weekend in Miami for the Grand Prix race. Got a lot to talk about, so pull up a pew, sit back, relax and enjoy the show. You wouldn't fucking read about it. So after the first two attempts, the Miami GP is back for the third time. And it's what I refer to as the car park Grand Prix. I don't find it the most exciting circuit to watch a race at. And from the first two attempts, and this weekend was a slight improvement, we've seen that obviously it's not a track that really, I've got to say, challenges the drivers in any way. I don't think there's any particular corner that they say, wow, that's just like an Eau Rouge or that's a 130R or, you know, a Rascasse or whatever. There's no particular corner that you can highlight and say, you know, some people say it's better than Monaco. I really don't agree with that because I can't see the challenges. So Leclerc, he obviously went to go for that car park exit when in free practice one he parked his car up and displayed the no parking signs, obviously. And then the pit lane exit became a car park itself as they all queued up during quali for sprint and the actual quali event to try and get the best track position by just bottlenecking the pit exit. The idiot move of the weekend, one I've got to give, of course, is to Ocon for allowing himself to just drive out of the pit garage when he wanted to and into the side of Leclerc's car. Now, onto the race. Rest of the weekend probably was the most exciting action. The race itself, obviously, Perez, he tried the 10-pin bowling move, as my mate Copsy said to me this morning, and he wanted to clearly try and beat the field to get into the first corner, which didn't work for him. And Max had a weird incident. He was going under the overpass for the freeway, and he took the bollard out with him. Didn't really affect him or didn't damage his nose that much, but he took the bollard for a bit of a drive. Now, the weird incident, of course, was K-Mag into Sargent. I sort of half called it at the time as a racing incident tending towards Sargent being at fault for coming across into K-Mag's position, but K-Mag was sort of in the closing gap that he couldn't be in, so that's why he's copped the penalty. And of course, speared Sargent off into the barrier and he busted the back end of his car. Now, the bloke who had the shits all weekend and was fired up, of course, was Carlos Sainz, and he had a fair bit to do. He was getting to the point he was probably going to have to come to get a new steering wheel to replace the radio button. He kept jamming, whinging about everything, and I think he's claimed that, you know, Piastri had to give the position back and get on the phone to, you know, McLaren and tell him to get him to give the position back. Wasn't exactly called for because I think it was a fair racing incident and I couldn't see any issue with it. No one else could either. So Sainz, he just had the shits with the world, I think. But of course, I think the greatest racing that I could see in the beginning end of the race was Hülkenberg and Hamilton. Nobody talked about it, and I thought it was a great scrap between Haas. A driver has gone for so long without a single podium, and a seven-time world champion in a much better car going neck and neck with each other. Obviously, Hamilton had a bit to say about it, but I thought it was just great racing to show that obviously Hulk's found his, you know, second life, signing a contract with Sauber to become an Audi driver, and it's obviously flicked a switch in his head. And that leaves me with the question, what are Haas going to do with K-Mag? Are they going to retain him, or what are their options to spear him, put Ollie Beerman in? Because I don't think K-Mag's exactly doing himself any favours in the driver market to be retained by Haas anytime soon. Then Albon thought he'd have a go at the 10-pin bowling alley approach, and he did a massive lock-up and almost took Ricciardo out, I believe. And then, obviously, Norris went on to become the winner. And I've got to say, well done to him and well done to McLaren for the perfect strategy. There was some criticism that if the safety car hadn't come out, he wouldn't have got the position that he did. But that's the way things go. It swings and roundabouts, and it was the perfect strategy call for McLaren to get him into that position. And it was interesting to note that Max turned up and said he just could not chase that McLaren down. So whatever upgrades they brought to that McLaren, it is working. And as Will Joseph said after the race, the packages they brought and the upgrades they brought weren't exactly designed to deliver such a result as they did at Miami. And it was hopefully going to be used for other circuits later on in the season, but clearly that McLaren is now a proven race winner. And we'll see if Piastri gets a decent run, what he can do to potentially grab his first win himself, now that Norris has got one under his belt. Now, the weird thing of the weekend, of course, was a comment made by Alonso that he believes the FIA stewards were going easy on Hamilton, his ex-teammate from many years ago, because he's not a Spaniard. I think it's one of the most bizarre and stupid comments I've ever heard, and I don't know why he's making that claim, unless he's going on the political spin of trying to toe the corporate line as an Aston Martin driver, because they seem to have been targeted, and they're certainly complaining about their being targeted for stupid penalties, which I think are more than deserved. So where Alonso came up with that comment for, I don't know. I really don't know. So that's it. Very quick notebook. Not much to talk about, really, because it is, of course, the Miami Grand Prix, one of the races I certainly detest. And certainly I'm looking forward to going back to the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix in 2 weeks' time at an actual proper racing F1 circuit. So until then, I'll say thanks for watching, and bye-bye.